If your property has these wooden posts and they're deteriorating, first instinct is often to remove them and their concrete footing and put in a steel post. Today I'm going to show you why that's not necessarily your best bet. What I prefer to do is go over exactly 12 inches, 14 inches, whatever. As long as you do that with every one of these posts, you can replace them over time, and once you're switched over to all steel posts, they'll still be on even 8-foot spacings. That way you don't have to deal with the labor of removing this concrete, and this concrete remaining in the fence line helps with some soil migration and actually makes the fence stronger. Step one, you probably want to take a shovel and gingerly dig around here looking for any sprinkler lines. Once you're about 8 to 10 inches deep, you're usually pretty good. We're about 12 to 14 inches down and I still don't see it, so we're good to dig this hole the rest of the way.
Why?
Song stuck in your head?
Why?
Sound like a pretty tough, manly song there, but... I'm gonna plumb it in and out from the fence line, and then I'm gonna pour the concrete. Now, once you got your concrete in there dry, I'm going to replumb it both directions to my liking. Okay, that looks good to add water. Typically want about 3.8 liters for a full bag. This is about 90% of a bag, so I'm going to go just shy of that. I pour some on the post to rinse any of the cement off. And then while it's curing, give it one last check over for plumb. And that one's good. I used my post pounder and I pounded it down to perfect height. If you're using an 8-foot post, you really don't want it sticking up because that means it's not deep enough. This was a 9-foot long cutoff from a 10-footer, so it was a little longer than it needed to be. A comment, a like, a subscribe would mean the world to me and help the channel get off the ground. So let's get into these next couple posts. Alright, again, like and subscribe, but the next step is going to be to come back in 24 to 48 hours and add 32-inch rail segments. Alright, 2 days later we're back. The idea is to take these 32-inch scab rails, put brackets on here, and slide the scab rails through to where they overlap where these two rails meet, and that way it'll tie it all together. We'll go to about this picket. Okay, I like to put all 3 brackets here on the rail. Make sure you point the screw somewhere you can get your impact. If there's another post here, that won't work, so you'd have to put the bolt the other way. So we're just going to slide all 3 of them on. Slide one all the way to the bottom. We're close enough for now. Slide the next one on. And really I'm just wanting to start with the top one. Okay, so now I'm going to put our overlap board in, our scab board. Line it up with the edge of this picket right there. I'm going to screw it on, then I'm going to have my helper go on the other side and screw through each picket into the scab rail. You can screw the top and middle ones, buddy.
Okay.
Is that if all these are to the left of their post between 12 and 15 inches, you'll be on right about 8-foot spacing with the steel post when the time comes to tear all of the wood down and replace it. This allows you to make repairs that prevent the fence from falling over in the meantime, but the cost of those repairs is applied towards the replacement. When you replace this fence, you won't need to pay for all new steel posts. Everything you need to know about the process of rebuilding it is right here. If you're not sure if you want red cedar, Japanese cedar, treated pine for your pickets and fence material, everything you need to know about that is right here. So click on over.